Very timely piece of research coming out from the team at HSBC. They have surveyed firms around the world to see how they're being impacted by tariffs and trade uncertainty, including companies here in the UAE. We are joined by Diana Cherneva. She is the Regional Head of Global Trade Solutions at HSBC for the Middle East. Diana, it's lovely to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
And this is a survey that was done in the first 2 weeks of May. We're going to concentrate with you on what UAE companies have seen you. Starting with the top number, companies here already seeing cost increases due to tariffs.
Yes, indeed. Just to give a little bit of a context, we asked 5,700 customers from the period of 30th of April till 12th of May about their sentiment regarding global trade. Focusing on the UAE-based customers, three main messages. First one, indeed, 65% of the customers already spot a pressure on their cost lines, global average being 66%. Having said that, they predict 19% impact on their revenues. But 94% of the UAE-based customers are extremely optimistic. They think that they will be growing cross-border trade going forward. And of course, naturally, the question comes why? They are very resilient and they have few mitigating actions, which I can share if needed.
Okay, we're going to dig into these bit by bit. So first off, let's look at what they say they're already seeing.
Yes.
We are, as you say, in line with the global average for that, 65% saying they're already seeing an average cost increase. How is that so, given that A, we're not directly in the line of fire for most of these tariffs, some but not all, and B, a lot have been delayed?
Yes, so the beauty of global trade is that it is very interconnected. So every UAE-based customer has obviously a number of suppliers across the world. That's why the UAE-based customers are feeling the pressure which their suppliers are feeling in the different jurisdictions. So there is definitely a trend coming from there. Additionally to this, on your demand side, when you place your products in the different jurisdictions, with the tariffs around, there are pressures as well. So combining these two effects, obviously the customers are feeling pressure.
And they expect to see more in the future.
Correct. 80% of the customers expect to see the trend of cost pressure continuing till the full year.
What does that mean for us? What does that mean for the UAE economy? What does that mean for customers, for consumers here?
Yes, interestingly enough, it depends on sectors. When you looked at the very quick turnaround shelf products into the consumers, retail, healthcare, obviously the cost pressures will come much quicker. While when you look at the long-dated contracts like into the industrials or oil and gas, the pressure will probably come around a year time. And now how the customers are feeling about it, and probably based on this information, why they feel so optimistic. I think they have built resilience. And the question is, how are they going to mitigate the situation? They've given us few ways of doing it. So heavily using data analytics to make your production or your business model much more efficient. Risk management, scenario planning. I think COVID taught us to think into scenarios, and from these times we have playbooks for managing different situations. Not to miss the investment in supply chain transparency. You need to have diversified suppliers such that if there is a pressure on one, you go to the next one. And relationship-driven business models. So our customers told us that they will intensify or deepen relationships with Middle East, China, and Europe. So these are the places where they try to grow their demand.
Yeah, as you say, companies have said to you that they have strategies. I was surprised, though, to see that quite a few expect to still be impacted by tariffs 2 years from now.
Absolutely. And this is, by the way, not only for the UAE-based customers, but across the globe. This is a unified feeling currently. And I think we all need to admit that currently we are going through an unprecedented uncertainty around the world, and this will definitely impact the business models. So we are seeing huge reshaping of actually global trade. And if I can give you an example, in the last 7 years, when we had COVID and other uncertainties, actually the supply chains didn't stop, they just became longer. So our customers find a way to deal with the uncertainty.
The UAE was one of two countries that were particularly optimistic about being able to deal with this. The other one's India. Tell me why the pair of us particularly.
So I think that India feels also very optimistic because of the environment in which they are, the growth possibilities which they have, and the interlinkage between the East and West, which they are also positioned at. And a third country which is very optimistic is USA as well.
What could this mean in terms of silver linings? You've been speaking to companies about where they might move some of their activity to, particularly their manufacturing activity. A lot of eyes on the Middle East.
Absolutely. So we are definitely seeing reshaping of the supply chains and looking for new ways of producing and placing your goods, new markets of suppliers and new markets for demand. So our customers, to give you an example with a recent customer I talked to, for example, they're into the healthcare industry and they have production facilities in the States. So they're looking for partnerships. Could they partner with other customer or other companies from this industry such that they use jointly the production facilities for a better outcome of their business model? So partnerships going forward, I think, will be a key.
I'm going to finish with one last number. It's the impact of revenue. You mentioned it right at the beginning. UAE businesses told you that they were expecting to see a 19%, that was the mean average, a 19% impact on revenues, just 1 percentage point higher than the global average. If we call that 20%, does that mean that we are looking at a potential 20% increase in costs, things going up by a fifth?
Not really. Like I mentioned, the customers are trying to find ways to mitigate the costs, the uncertainties, the tariffs. So I think now it is the time for innovation, for rethinking your business model, rethinking your suppliers, such that you remain relevant for the market. So I strongly believe, and when we talk to our customers, we see their intentions of finding another better way of dealing with the situation. That's why I wouldn't translate it into a direct price impact.
Diana Cherneva is Regional Head of Global Trade Solutions at HSBC Middle East. They've been surveying firms around the world, including here, to see how they are being impacted already by tariffs and trade uncertainty. Thank you for your time.